Audis. Now, Audis are great cars, but in some countries where it's a lot more beautiful weather, you think, you know what, I can have another car like a Mercedes or a BMW or even a Kia. Well, if you live in a country that snows a lot, then you need four-wheel drive. You don't need it, but it's fun to have. And Audi makes one of the best four-wheel drive systems ever. Until recent years, when BMWs and Mercedes has come up to par. But what if you look for a car for like 5 to 6 grand? Well, there is an alternative for you, and that's that one right there. And it's the Audi A6 C4 or 4F, I think it's called, C6 variation. This car was in production from 2004 to 2011, and if I have to say myself, it's quite a good looking car. I love these things, and they are great fun to drive, even though they don't have a lot of feel, but they are still great cars. Four-wheel drive system, like I said, was an option extra on them. Base was a front-wheel drive, but if you buy one of these in front-wheel drive, it's like going on a summer vacation and then, you know, chilling in the bathroom, taking a shit. It's the same thing. And now the engines that were available in this car was quite a lot of different ones. You have the 2.0 liter diesels all the way to a 3.0 diesel. You have the V6s, you have 4-cylinder TFSI engines. Now this particular model behind me is a 3.2 V6, and I paid 5 grand for it. And it's a lot of car for 5 grand. So let's go and take a nice drive for it, and let's see what's what. Audi have great four-wheel drive systems. And that means that you can have a lot of fun with the cars. Now, BMWs are great fun in the snow, especially any rear-wheel drive car is very fun. But a four-wheel drive car is something really nice. I usually never liked Audi in the same way maybe as I did, let's say, a Mercedes-Benz or an BMW. But they do make great cars. Especially when it's snow outside, they make a lot more sense, because they are a little bit dead overall in the feel. But when it's a little bit less grip outside, then they are a ton of fun, because then you can really use the four-wheel drive system that they have on option. Now the car we're reviewing is, of course, it's almost now a 7-year-old car. It's a Audi A6, the model year between 2004 and 2004 and 2011. I mean, look at the grip now. And it was a great success by Audi, and I think they were really ahead of the time when this car was launched. I mean, first of all, let's talk about the interior of this car, which is just magnificent. And this was, I think, the first Audi that came out, which started the success that Audi is known for today. But before this model, there were sort of boring-ish cars. The Audi A4 was nothing special. The Audi A6, the previous generation, was also nothing to be proud of. It was nothing special at all. And then this car was launched, and it was, wow, look at this, has Audi made this? And like I said, interior way ahead of its time. I mean, even by today's standards, this interior looks great. If you look at the BMW 5 Series or even the Mercedes E-Class, it looks kind of shitty compared to this interior. Variety of different engines you can choose from back in the days. 2-liter diesels, which are great cars. Not a lot of power, but they do get the job done, and with what tune you can get like 190 horsepower, and they are very reliable engines. And then they have the V6 engines, the 2.4 and the 3.2 liter V6, which is a great engines, and we'll go a little bit more about them in a little bit. This model we are driving is actually 3.2 liter V6. Then you have the TFSI engine, the 3-liter and the 2-liter TFSI. You also have a 2.8 liter FSI engine, which I sort of forgot because no one cares about that engine. And then of course 3-liter diesel engines. Now the best choice of engine, it really depends on where you live. I live in Sweden. The tax on diesel engines are just crazy. So if you have a 3-liter diesel, you're paying like 800 euros a year to drive it on the road, which is quite a lot of money, and it doesn't add up, so I choose the V6 engines. Now the favorite engine I like is actually the 3.2 liter V6 and the 3 liter diesel. If you want an economy car, 2 liter diesel, go ahead for that one, very reliable, so on and so forth. A little bit more power, a little bit more fun, and also get a little bit more extra options when the car was new. It's the 3 liters and the 3.2 liter V6s. Now the 3.2 and the 2.4 liter V6s had some problems with the timing chain, so they basically last roughly 12,000 kilometers, and they do not like long life service intervals. So if the chain has not been replaced on any of those cars and they have long life service intervals, then it's a question of time when the engine will actually fall apart, which is sort of sad because they are a great engine, and this affects the 2.4 and the 3.2 liter V6s. On the 3 liter diesel, what I look after is the particle filter, which you can get stuck in the EGR thing, which is inside the engine. We also can cloud up with a bunch of shit, so check that, is worth it. Different gearboxes also. You have the 6-speed manual, which a lot of the diesels are, the 2 liter diesels and the 2.4 liter V6s, and the TFSI engine also, especially in Europe, also comes. A lot of them came with the 6-speed manual, which is an okay gearbox. Nothing wrong with the gearbox at all. I don't think it fits the character of the car specifically well. Then you have the Multitronic gearbox, which if I'm not incorrect, it's a 7-speed CVT gearbox, which works in a very unusual way, but it's a okay gearbox, maybe not the most reliable one. You can find them on, for example, the 2.4 liter V6 engine has that CVT gearbox. I think some of the TFSI engines also had that gearbox. And then you have the gearbox that I have, which is a Triptronic gearbox, which actually do blip the downshifters. It's an okay fast gearbox. It's not like a dual clutch, it's okay. It's basically the same-ish function as a modern ZF gearbox is. It has a torque converter and a normal automatic transmission, and it's okay when it comes to speed. It does feel a little bit slacky sometimes, but it's actually an okay gearbox, and it's also very reliable, and you can find them on the 3.2 liter V6s. Now the driving experience of these cars is great. I mean, it's a very comfortable car. It's quite a heavy car. They weigh almost 2 tons, but they are really comfortable. And when it comes to overtaking, if you have a little bit more power, no worries whatsoever. A nice sound from that V6 engine as well. So the handling of the car is not the BMW 5 Series in any way, shape or form. It's sort of dead in your hands. You don't get a lot of feel, but what you get is a feeling of I can drive anywhere and nothing can stop me. And I don't know what it is, but it really does feel like that, and it has a great feel to it. It's a great family car. It's very quiet. It's extremely comfortable, and the seats are great. You can also get the S-Line performance seat, which is a little bit sportier seat, which is even better than the normal seat. But even the normal seat is great. I've driven this car for 10+ hours in a road, on a long road trip. No backage, no ass hurts. It's great. It's a beautiful gearbox. The MMI system, which is how the multimedia system, is also way ahead of its time when it came out. The BMW system and the Mercedes system did not really work. Mercedes basically did not have a system back then. It was really slow and laggy and old. BMW have their thing, but it's really horrible. E-Drive, I think it's called, right? Which sucks. This works perfectly. You have some bottoms right here, and everything is well figured out. It's super simple to use, and it's a great system. It's, of course, to modern day standards, it's not that impressive, but it's okay. It's not laggy, it's not slow. It does the work as you want it to. Also, the thing that they did, if you look down here, how they designed the bottoms and so on and so forth, is great, because on the driver's side you have navigation, information, car setup, and then on the passenger side you have the volume button, radio, CD, telephone. So they really thought everything out when it comes to that. The chassis also quite good. Like I said, it's more for comfortableness than sportiness, but it does have still a nice feeling to it. And this steering wheel, I mean, my god, it's beautiful. It's still, even 10+ years later, it looks great. Has such a beautiful, nice feel to it, and I love it. The gauges as well, very beautiful, simple to read, great. And the way the car sits on the road is also great visibility all around, and yeah, I really like it. Now, some things that you have to get is the Quattro. I think if you buy this in a front-wheel drive, you will always regret that you did not get the four-wheel drive version, and that's what really is the magic about this car, because the four-wheel drive system in this car is magnificent. It works perfectly. It has a 40-60 balance. It works great. It's super fun to drive in the snow and on wet, and you get all the grip in the entire wall. If you get the front-wheel drive, it's not the same thing. It sort of sucks. It's really is, you're really missing out. It's like buying a prostitute and then like talking to her. It's the same thing. Don't get it. Get a Quattro system. Other options that also could look after for is color screen. You have the MMI 2G and 1G, I think it's called. Now the normal one is a ugly, super old red display, which sucks. This one has the color display, which still not the best, but it does look much better than the red thing right there. I really cannot encourage you enough to get this one because it looks much better. Also the equipment navigation sucks, but it looks great. Also an optional extra parking sensors. It's a nice thing to look after. I really like the sunroof, but it was really rare and really expensive back in the day to buy it with a sunroof. So it's a great car. Other problems to look after for when it comes to the electronic of this car, there is not actually a lot of things that went wrong. Thank God for that. But some things to look after for is the handbrake. Like I said, on the engines, on the V6s. The other electronics, so keyless go can be also sometimes a problem, but not that bad. You can still fix it quite easily. And overall, the electronics in these cars are very reliable. It has some sensors in the clutch sensor and the brake sensor, brake light sensor I think it's called, which sort of breaks sometimes. It may be in that the cruise control don't work, for example, that you can replace that. It's not that expensive, but those things goes wrong sometimes. And then of course the TFSI engine do drink a little bit more oil than a normal car, so if you're buying one of those, be aware of that. Other than that, it's a great car. This example has done 22,000 miles. The only thing that don't work is the cruise control, but that's due to a fact that I have a vacuum leak, which I'm going to fix. This engine has also been in 18,000 miles. The engine had done a complete rehaul. They changed every timing chain and all of those things to make the car work perfectly again. So if you're looking in the market for a nice comfortable car, you want it in the price range that this car is, which is roughly 3,000 to 10,000 euros, then I don't think there is any better car in this class. And it's super fun to drive, and the four-wheel drive system is great. So yeah, that's the Audi. But thank you for watching this review of the Audi A6. I hope you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe if you want more videos of it. I also have a POV video of this car if you're interested in watching that as well, which is also on my YouTube channel, which you can check out. Now I'm driving really stupidly because I am an Audi driver. Peace!